Wolf, one of Julie's ramblings by Douglas Clarke, read by Emma Clarke. Today was a bit scary. I've dealt with wolves, bears, and mountain lions in the past. As a general rule, they want to avoid me more than I want to avoid them. That's the general rule. Today was not the general rule. I was hiking up near Henderson's Pass. I had gone up to one of the little lakes I know up there to catch some fish. It had been a successful trip. I had a couple dozen fish cleaned, smoked, and draped on the back of my backpack. As I turned a corner in the path, I froze. 20 feet in front of me stood a giant wolf, probably 6 feet at the shoulders, the kind that orcs ride. The wolf was standing there, growling softly and staring at me. I slipped off my pack and drew my sword while I kept my eyes on him. One thing I learned years ago, when facing an enemy, be it human or animal, don't ever break eye contact. That's what they're waiting for. As we stood there, I studied him closer. I noticed that he was a male, that the muscles in his front legs were trembling as he stood there, and that the pupils of his eyes were huge. I had actually never seen the later stages of rabies, but I was pretty sure that I was seeing them now. I looked for other signs, but I didn't notice any foaming of the mouth or that he was choking. Of course, I couldn't tell if he had a fever or if he had lost his appetite. As he started to move towards me, I guessed that he was showing one of the episodes of aggression that are common, and of course he was showing no fear of me. I wasn't sure what to do. If he had just been a hungry wolf, I would have thrown him some of my fish, but I doubted food would work with this one. I thought of running for a tree, but again, I was pretty sure he would be able to get to me before I could get high enough up a tree to be out of his reach. So I did what any mountain woman would have done. I started screaming at the top of my lungs at him. I smacked my sword against my boot, and then I took a step towards him. To my surprise, he actually stopped. Now what? I stood 15 feet away from a 1,500-pound killing machine that wasn't quite right in the head. We stood that way for several minutes. All of a sudden, he looked to his right and then leapt at a tree. His jaws locked onto its trunk, and it started to splinter as he rolled his body to one side. As the wolf was engaged in mortal combat with a poor tree, I slipped off the trail and into the woods. I took up a position 100 feet away and watched as the wolf completed his destruction. When the wolf was done, it lay there for a while. Apparently rested, it got up and went to sniff at my pack. He pawed at it a few times, but was apparently not interested in my fish or the other food in my pack. He eventually continued his trek up the path. When I was sure he was gone, I retrieved my pack and hurried down the trail. I thought several times as I walked back to town. Should I have tried to put him out of his misery? I know it would have been foolish to try, but I do feel a little guilty about it.